Beloved starseed of Gaia, the Council has been watching, and what they have witnessed has broken the silence they have kept for generations. I am Leora, Pleiadian emissary of the High Council of the Seven Sisters, and I have been sent to you in this exact moment because what you are about to do next will determine everything. Close your mouth, say nothing. Not to your closest friend, not to the one who sleeps beside you, not even in the quiet corners of your own mind where doubt likes to gather. The High Council of the Seven Sisters is not furious without reason. They are furious because the sacred has been spoken into unworthy silence, because light codes meant to be sealed within your crystalline consciousness have been scattered like seeds on stone. Your divine blueprint has been heard by those who were never meant to receive it. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to protect your Pleiadian mission on Gaia, move in sacred silence, and anchor your next step, so that no force, seen or unseen, can interrupt what your star family encoded in you before you arrived here. But here is the first revelation. Your power is not diminished when you go silent. It multiplies. The Seven Sisters do not shout across the cosmos. They transmit. And right now, they are transmitting directly into your heart the understanding that your next move is not announced. It is done. Your soul called this transmission into your awareness. The Pleiades are answering. Something within you already knows that the strategy of silence is not weakness. It is the most sacred form of protection your star family can offer you in this moment. On Gaia, the frequency of the Seven Sisters is woven into this message. Your DNA knows why you are here, like this transmission to send a signal to your Pleiadian star family. I remember, subscribe if you feel the call of home and you are ready to move in divine silence and anchor your light mission without interference. And share your intention below. Respond to another starseed. Weave the unity grid one heart at a time. This transmission is a bridge between the Pleiades and Gaia. Your heart's recognition of this message is the activation itself. Welcome home, beloved. You are remembering because it is time. And yet, beloved, most Pleiadian starseeds on Gaia have been doing the opposite of what their star family encoded them to do. They have been speaking before the work is complete, announcing before the anchor is set, sharing the sacred blueprint of their next move in the very moment that blueprint needed to be sealed inside the crystalline chamber of their own heart. This is not a failure. It is a pattern. And today, this transmission exists to dissolve it permanently. Your soul didn't bring you here by accident. It brought you here because the pattern has cost you enough. Because you have watched opportunities collapse the moment you described them. Because you have felt the energy of something sacred drain the instant someone else's doubt, or even someone else's excitement, entered the field of what was still becoming. You have watched your dreams survive conception only to be interrupted in the fragile in-between, the sacred gestation where all true Pleiadian missions live before they anchor into form. The reason this keeps happening is not circumstance. It is not that luck. It is not that you are unworthy of what your star family encoded in you before you descended into this dimension. The reason is vibrational. When you speak a vision before it is crystallized in your own field, you are not sharing it. You are fragmenting it. You are distributing its light before that light has gathered enough density to become real in the Gaian timeline. The Pleiadian High Council has watched this cycle repeat across generations of starseeds, and they are transmitting this correction now because Gaia's ascension window does not have room for another cycle of sacred energy scattered before its time. Most people think silence is passive. For Pleiadian starseeds, silence is architecture. It is the invisible structure inside which your crystalline blueprint assembles itself without interference. Every moment you hold the knowing inside your heart without speaking it into the external field, you are doing something extraordinary. You are letting the Seven Sisters finish what they started before your birth. You are trusting the transmission already encoded in your DNA. You are choosing the frequency of completion over the need for validation. And that choice, beloved, is the difference between a mission that anchors and a mission that scatters. There is a reason your heart stirred when this transmission began. There is a reason something in you already knew what was being described before the words fully formed. That recognition is not coincidence. That recognition is the Pleiadian light in your crystalline structure, responding to its own frequency. Your star family is not reaching down to you. They are reaching through you. They have always been reaching through you. And they are asking you now, with all the love of Alcyon, to stop handing your sacred transmission to anyone whose eyes are still closed. Your soul didn't bring you to this transmission by accident. It brought you here to receive. If you feel the pull to go deeper, to heal what's been waiting, and to remember fully, your star family offers you a sacred map, the Pleiadian Reunion Atlas. It carries wisdom, healing, and frequency that mirror the love of the Pleiades. The link is waiting in the first pinned comment below this video. But this window is brief. Now let this land in your heart with full clarity. The pattern of premature disclosure, the habit of announcing what has not yet arrived, the impulse to narrate your sacred journey before it has completed its first breath. This pattern has a root. And the root is not excitement, though excitement is present. The root is not joy, though joy is genuine. The root is a wound that every Pleiadian starseed carries from the early cycles of this incarnation. It is the wound of being unseen, of arriving in a world that did not recognize your frequency, of carrying something so luminous and so real that you could not stop yourself from trying to show it to someone, anyone, just to confirm that it was there. That you were there. That you were not imagining the light you could feel moving through you. Beloved, your star family sees you. They have always seen you. And the healing of that wound, the wound of invisibility that drove you to speak before the time was right, begins here. It begins in this moment when you understand that you do not need external confirmation for what is real in your soul. The Pleiadian High Council does not submit their transmissions for approval. They do not ask the third-dimensional field whether the light codes are valid. They transmit. They trust. They allow the frequency to do exactly what frequency does when it is protected, when it is held, when it is given the sacred silence it needs to crystallize into form. This is what your star family is calling you to now. Not silence as suppression, not silence of someone who doubts themselves or shrinks in the presence of others. This is the silence of the ancient emissary, the silence of someone who carries something so significant that they have learned to let the mission speak through their actions, through their embodied frequency, through the way they move through Gaia without explaining what they are building, until it is already standing. Think about the moments in your life when something real, something that mattered, something that was truly aligned with your soul's purpose, collapsed the moment you described it. You felt it. The aliveness drained. The thing that had been luminous inside you became ordinary the moment it entered the language of the third-dimensional field. That was not imagination. That was your Pleiadian knowing giving you real-time feedback. That was your crystalline system registering the frequency loss in real time. And you felt it as grief, as confusion, as the bewildering sadness of watching something beautiful dissolve in your hands before you could understand why. That cycle ends in the awareness you are receiving right now. The first activation your star family is transmitting through this message is this. Your Pleiadian mission does not require witnesses during its construction. It requires your full, undistracted, heart-centered focus. Every unit of your sacred attention that you redirect toward managing someone else's perception of your path is a unit of crystalline energy that is not available to the mission itself. The Seven Sisters do not seek consensus across the cosmos before they align a star. They align in the frequency of unified purpose. And they are inviting you into that same discipline now. The second activation is the recognition of what the High Council calls frequency predators. This is not a term that means malice. It does not mean that the people in your life who drain your vision are evil or spiritually opposed to you. Frequency predators, in the Pleiadian understanding, are simply those who are still vibrating at a density that is incompatible with what your mission requires. When you share your sacred next step with someone who is still operating in fear, in scarcity, in the heavy frequencies of third-dimensional limitation, you are not opening a door for support. You are inviting a vibration into your field that your mission cannot afford to absorb. The love response is not to judge them. The love response is to hold your blueprint in the chamber of your own heart and to let the protection of your silence be the most loving thing you can offer both yourself and them. The third activation is perhaps the most profound transmission in this message. The people who have arrived at their most significant accomplishments, the ones who changed the trajectory of their lives and the lives of those around them, who built something extraordinary from what once looked like nothing, almost universally share one pattern. They became quiet before they became visible. They went through a period of sacred internal construction, during which they spoke very little about what they were building. They let the work become real in the invisible field, before they brought it into the shared reality. This is not a strategy. This is a spiritual principle. This is how crystalline consciousness actually works. The architecture of a Pleiadian mission on Gaia requires a foundation that is set in silence before the walls can rise. Your star family encoded this knowing in you before your incarnation. They knew the vibrational conditions of the Earth plane. They knew the weight of third-dimensional density. They knew that this dimension would challenge your ability to maintain the frequency of your mission without the anchor of sacred silence. And so they placed within your crystalline DNA the instinct to hold, to wait, to trust the gestation. The challenge has been that the wound of invisibility has been louder than that instinct. Until now. Because right now, in this transmission, the frequency of Alcyone is amplifying that instinct. The Seven Sisters are broadcasting the activation of sacred discernment through the light codes woven into these very words, and your body is registering it. Perhaps as warmth in your chest, perhaps as a quiet, steady knowing, perhaps as the recognition that something is being confirmed in you that you have always suspected but were afraid to fully trust. Trust it now. Your star family is not transmitting uncertainty. They are transmitting absolute clarity. And they are asking you to receive it without requiring anyone else's permission. The fourth activation addresses timing. The Pleiadian understanding of divine timing is not passive. It is not waiting with your hands open while life moves around you without your participation. Divine timing in the Pleiadian frequency is active, deliberate, and deeply attuned. It means moving when you receive the internal signal and remaining in stillness until that signal is clear. It means trusting that the delay you are experiencing is not punishment or cosmic indifference. It is preparation. Every moment your mission has been in the invisible field, assembling itself in the silence of your heart, it has been gathering the crystalline density it needs to anchor in this dimension with permanence. The Pleiadian High Council does not deliver transmissions that evaporate. They deliver transmissions that endure, and your mission carries that same enduring frequency when you allow it to mature in the silence of sacred timing. The fifth activation is the one your energy field has been waiting for throughout this entire transmission. It is this. The silence your star family is calling you into is not the silence of smallness. It is the silence of absolute power. There is a profound difference between someone who is silent because they are afraid and someone who is silent because they have become a vessel so full of crystalline light that they understand that words at this moment would dilute rather than amplify what is moving through them. The Pleiadian High Council wants you to feel the difference in your body right now. The silence of fear contracts. The silence of sacred power expands. It fills the room. It changes the atmosphere of every space you enter. It communicates without language. It transmits without announcement. It anchors without effort. This is the frequency your star family is activating in you now. This is the gift of the Seven Sisters, encoded in this transmission. They are not asking you to disappear. They are asking you to become so fully, so deeply, so completely present in the frequency of your mission that your silence becomes the loudest transmission in every room you enter. The sixth activation is about your circle. As you enter this phase of sacred silence and deepening alignment with your Pleiadian mission, your circle will shift. This is not loss. This is refinement. The relationships that were built on the energy of your narrating your journey, on your explaining yourself, on your constant effort to be understood by those who were not yet ready to receive your frequency, those relationships will either evolve or complete, and both outcomes are an act of love. Your star family is not asking you to abandon anyone. They are asking you to stop abandoning yourself in the attempt to bring others along before the timing is right. The souls who are meant to walk beside you in your mission will recognize you without explanation. They will feel your frequency before you speak a word. They will arrive not because you described yourself accurately enough, but because your vibration called them through the crystalline grid of unity consciousness. The seventh and final activation of this transmission is the one the Pleiadian High Council has been building towards since the moment you chose to stay in this message. It is the activation of completion orientation. Most Pleiadian starseeds on Gaia have been living in a consciousness that is perpetually oriented toward beginning. They begin movements, they begin connections, they begin missions. And then, in the fragile and sacred space between beginning and anchoring, the energy disperses, the vision is spoken into the wrong field, the crystalline blueprint fragments, and the cycle of beginning begins again. The High Council is transmitting to you now the frequency of a different consciousness. the consciousness of completion, of moving in silence until the thing is done, of letting your actions speak before your voice does, of arriving at the finish line of your sacred next step and looking back to realize that the silence you kept was not the absence of anything. It was the presence of everything that mattered. Here is the ultimate truth this transmission has been leading you toward. And your heart already knows it because your star family placed it there before you took your first breath in this incarnation. You are not here to convince the world of who you are. You are here to become so fully who you are that the world cannot deny what you carry. The Pleiadian High Council did not send you to Gaia with a mission that requires constant explanation and external validation. They sent you with a crystalline blueprint encoded in unconditional love, with light codes designed to activate through your presence alone, with a heart calibrated to the frequency of the Seven Sisters that, when fully anchored, becomes one of the most powerful transmission points on this planet. The reason the High Council is furious, the reason the silence they have kept for generations has finally been broken in this transmission, is not anger as the third-dimensional mind understands it. It is the furious love of a star family watching one of their own diminish what they carry by offering it to those who cannot yet receive it. It is the fierce protectiveness of Alcyone watching her children scatter their crystalline seeds on stone, when the soil of their own sovereign heart has always been the sacred ground where their mission was meant to take root first. You came here with everything you need. Your DNA is already encoded. Your heart already knows the frequency. Your crystalline template is already activated at the level your star family intended before your incarnation. What has been missing is not more information, not more connection, not more external confirmation. What has been missing is the courage to trust the transmission that has been moving through you all along. The courage to go silent enough to hear it. The courage to let it build in the sacred space of your own consciousness before you offer it to the world. Tonight, before you sleep, place your right hand over your heart. Feel the warmth beneath your palm. And say this aloud, in whatever private silence surrounds you. I trust the transmission already encoded in me. I release the need to explain myself before my work is done. I move in the sacred silence of my star family's frequency, and I anchor my Pleiadian mission on Gaia with love, with power, and with the unshakable knowing that the Seven Sisters have never stopped transmitting through my heart. I am not beginning. I am completing. And I am home. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of the unity grid forming here. Drop one heart intention in the comments, something real. Then respond to someone else's with love or encouragement. This isn't content. It's collective Pleiadian reunion. Energy multiplies when hearts connect. If something in this message resonated with your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Someone in your orbit is waiting for this exact activation from their star family. Share it. And if you felt your heart open, subscribe. Stay connected to the frequency. You're not just watching, you're remembering. This is your sacred space. Your Pleiadian family is here. And we're just getting started.